Hello student, today I am here with practical part of lecture 12. So this is our lecture 12 which is based on which role-based authentication, role-based access control. Okay, the theory part is already discussed in the class, so I will move on to the practical part. Okay, in this way we have to create a new application. So I will go to my Visual Studio and I will also create a new project. I will write project name. So my project name should, I want it demo 7 and location is already fine. Now I will change the authentication. So here you have to mark individual user authentication. In this way each user authentication must be done before he can access any resource. So then I will click the create. I will go back to the slides. Okay, the same work is done in the project. Now if we open the solution explorer, we will see another controller which is account controller, and this controller is responsible for role-based authentication. Okay, project is created. Now we will see where we had also another. Yes, here is another controller which is account controller, and this account controller is responsible for user authentication. Okay, here you can see that there is a keyword authorize over each method of this controller, which means that before accessing anything you need to be authorized, you need to be authentic. Now this is my values controller, and if you can see over here upon the values controller it is also written that first you must be authorized, then you can access the controller, this controller. So we will continue our slide. Run this application and find various API services. List of available API services are here. This is API list. Okay, let's go and we will also run our application. Debug. Start without debugging. Okay, application is executed. Now we will access the help portion where we can see the different type of APIs which we can use for different purpose. So these are all APIs over here. Next, if you want to access the values controller, so for that purpose I will write API values over here and click enter. Here you can see authorization has been denied for this request. We cannot access the values controller because since we are not the authorized person for this resource. Why this message come over here? This message come over here due to the values controller. We will see the values controller. Okay, here upon the values controller it is written authorize. Due to this authorize we are getting the message. So I will remove this keyword and I will control S, save the script. Now again I will debug my application. Now I will access the values controller, and as I told you that due to that authorize keyword we cannot access the resources. So now the authorize keyword is missing in the values controller. Hope so we can access, now we can access the values controller. Yes, and now it is working. So this thing is working fine, that this authorize keyword is for authentication purpose. Okay, I will write it back over here and I will save this. Now we will go back to our slides. Okay, after this, you have observed that the values controller is secured with authorized attribute, which means that unauthorized person cannot access any record from this page. If link is given to postman tool for get action, following output will be given. So now we check our API values on the web browser, but we can also check this API values controller with the help of postman. So I will open my postman. Already some links are open over here. I will close these links and let me open another new link. For this purpose, link is open. I will copy my URL from here. This is the URL and I will paste this URL over here. Okay, the method should be get. URL is posted over here. Now I will try to access. So it is working fine. Mean we can access the values controller. Why? Because after editing the values controller, we haven't debug our code. So I will start. Now my code is executed. Now I will check it with the postman, and for this time the values controller will not be accessed because now authorized keyword is upon the values controller. And yes, you can see authorization has been denied for this request. Okay, now we will come back to the slides. Yes, the same message. We also get the same message. In order to enable user to access any record of his or her choice, it is required to register and then authorize the user. In order to register user, following API can be helpful. Uh, okay, now we want to register our user. For this purpose, we need post method. URL will be API account registered. With the inside the body, we have to send these three data: email, password, and confirm password. Okay, now I will also open my postman. I will open another new link. I will copy my URL over here, and the URL should be account/registered. The method should be post, and we also need to send some data with the body. So inside the slide, they send data with the help of raw, and I will send data with the help of URL encoded. So the first thing was email. The email I will write over here, it will be abc.com, and the second thing is password. I will write it 123 at the rate capital A small a, confirm password 123 at the rate capital A small a. So from here we can send the request, and when we send the request, this user with the username or email MAAN will be registered. But before this, I want to show you something. Here you can see in Server Explorer there is no database over here. You can see data connection, there is nothing over here. But when we registered the first user inside our database, then here a database will be created. Some tables will also be created for the user. So now I will go to the postman and I will register this user. uh, Now I send request for the registration, and the user is registered successfully because here we get the status of 200. Okay, now I will go back to the slide, and slide will also explain the same thing, that this will be JSON, and after sending the request, unsuccessful post request following code will be displayed on the postman, which is status 200. Okay, now it is working fine. Now I will show you the database over here. Now you can see a default connection database is created over here for you, and this database consists of some tables. These are the tables, and we registered a user inside the database. So date user can be the user update, the data update user will be saved over here in this table. Here you can see email MAAN@abc.com. The ID is unique ID and password is hash encrypted. That's why you cannot see the same password which we given in Postman. Now we will follow up the slide. Inside the slide, after successful registration, token will be created. Following steps are done to call the request. Now our user is registered. Now we want to get token for this user. So the first thing we will do is we have to send a request with the help of get method. URL will be this. On the token we need to write token. The body, inside the body we need to write some data over here, and the data will be 3: grant type, which is password, username and password. Okay, now I will do the same inside my Postman. I will open another URL over here. I will control V, paste my URL over here, and I will write token. Get method is already selected. I will select the body. Inside the body, URL encoded selected. Now I will write the grant underscore type, which is password, and username, which is MAAN@abc.com, and password is 123 capital small a. Now I will send this request for the token. Hope so we will receive a token. Now server is working on the request. And here we get the token with the name of access token, and this is the token value. Okay, the token type is bearer, expire in this duration, username for this person, date this token is generated, the issue date is here, and expiry date is also here. Now we will go back to the slides. After successful request and status 200 and okay, and we will receive this token information is provided. Token generated will be copied and saved. The token will be used to call the values API action. Token will be used for authentication purpose also. To call values API action with token authentication, following step will be done in Postman. The first thing is we need the get method over here. The URL should be for API values. Next we will select header. To send the token with request, we will select header. Inside the header we will send the token data with request. Then we will write this code. Okay, I will go to my Postman. I will open another URL. I will post my URL over here. The method selected is already get. The URL is also fine. Now I will select the header. Inside the header I need to send my token, so we need to send token with key authorization, and the value should be bearer space token. Now I will copy the token data, the token string from previous link. This is my token string, copied, and here paste. Now everything is fine. I will send the request, and this in this way we can access the values controller, and when we access the values controller it gives us two values, value 1, value 2. So with the help of token we can access any resources inside this database. Token type is returns and okay, and is this. All the work and step performed for registration and to call API action after login using Postman tool can also be performed using Angular CH code. Okay, and in this way we registered our user, and then we access the values controller with the help of Postman. These both work is done with the help of Postman, but the same work can be done with the help of Angular and CH. Registration and login form will be created with Angular and controller to perform the authentication step. So this is our registration form. This is the code for the registration. Okay, I will also write code over here Mm, Inside my project we need to write code for registration form. So I had already, this registration form code is already written, and also login form code is written. I will go to my lectures. This is lecture. Inside this lecture 12 we have some scripts, these three scripts. I will include these three scripts inside my project. Here you can see registration script, login script, and home.html. Okay, now the first thing is registration.html. So inside the registration in slides you can see there are three text field. So the first one is email, second one is password, and the last one is confirm password, then a register button. Now I will open my registration code. Inside the registration code, the first thing you need to take care is these content, is these references which is given over here. Okay, now here is bootstrap.css, bootstrap minimum.css, jQuery minimum.css. We will check whether these resources are already inside the script folder. Bootstrap.js is here, bootstrap min.css is also here, jQuery is also here, but you can see that angular.js is missing. So I will copy the angular.js from my lecture. This is angular.min, copy, and I will post this script inside this folder. Now angular min.js is over here. So I will go to my registration, and it is angular.js. I will change it into angular min.js. Now everything is fine. Okay, now we need to create a form. Inside the form there should be three text field. Okay, and we also need to write the angular script. So for angular script, first we need to create a module. For that purpose you have to create a div container, and inside the div container you need to mention ng-app user register. So a module will be created with the help of user registered. The next thing is we need to create a form. Inside the form we need to mention the controller, which controller will be called when the form submit button is pressed. So this is the controller, registered user controller. This is the second thing. And the third thing is we need to make three input types. The first input type is ng model email. Second input type is ng model password, which is over here. And the third input type is ng model confirm password. This is the third step. If you need to make the same form inside a quiz or inside a exam, you also need to follow these all steps. Okay, after that, when the registered button is clicked, so register function, ng click register function should be called. Now my HTML code is complete. Now we will come to the script. This is the script. First we need to create the module. So module user registration, a variable my app is created which consists of module. Now I want to call my controller. So my app.controller, I will mention the name of the controller over here. The scope variable will be also over here because we will get data from those fields. That's why scope variable is over here. And mm, in this section we also need to send a request, so http is also over here. Okay, over here now the register function is called. Inside the register function, variable bearer is created which is not used inside this code, so I will delete this variable. Next, a variable is created with the help of user which consists of grant type, password, email, scope email password, scope password, confirm password, scope dot confirm password. These three values will be retrieved from the form and stored in this user variable. Now I am going to send an ajax call to the server. So with ajax call for the $.ajax will be called. Inside this we need to mention type type of the method, which is post URL, which is localhost 44353. Now I will check my own localhost, and it is localhost 44363. So I will change it into 363. Now the same local host will be used. Now the data user data will be sent with this request. Content type, this user data will be send it with the help of content type URL encoded. The return data should be text. Okay, when we send this ajax call, if this ajax call is successfully processed, then success function will be executed. Inside the success function we are just giving an alert which is registered successfully. If the request is not successfully processed, then failure function will be called, which will return a failure value, which is json.string, which will show you a failure response, whether your URL is not right or whether your password is not right. If there is any error, then this function will be executed. So now this code is fine. I will debug my application. Okay, here we get the form. So I will register another user over here, and that user will be hover at the rate abc.com. Password will be 123 at the rate capital A small a. Again confirm password 123 at the rate capital A small a. Now I will register this user. Hope so this registration will work. It will take a little bit time. For the first time when you are executing this, so it will take a little bit time. Now here we get registered successfully. Now however is registered successfully, we will check his name inside the database. First we will update the database. Now database is updated. I will check this inside the table. I will open the table and I will also refresh the table. So when I refresh the table, here we can see hover is also registered. So in this way we registered the user with the help of HTML and Angular script. Now I will go back to the slides. What is written inside the slide, I will follow up. Okay, this is the code which I already discussed. When we send ajax call for registered, this function inside the account register is executed and it returns some result to us. Once user is registered, you can find an auto-generated database in the application, which is looks like we already visit this database. So I will skip this. Now the second is enter credential of recently registered user. Now we want to log in our user. For that purpose, login form should need to be created, and I already add my login.html over here, and I will first thing I will change it into angular.minimum.js because we don't have angular.js file inside our script folder. The only library for Angular is angular.minimum.js. That's why I change it over here. Now again, first we need to create a module which is user login. Next we need to create a controller which is login user, and after this we need to mention the text field which with the help of ng model, email and password. And the last thing is when we click the login button, login function will be executed. Okay, after the login function is executed, the script will be also be executed. First we need to make a module variable my app. Now I will call controller. Inside the controller we will call the login function. Inside the login function, here we are creating a variable with the name of bearer, and then we are creating a user variable with this name and post method. I will go to my slides. Inside the slide Okay, this is the code. Okay, over here I will change the local variable, sorry, local host URL, and ajax call is made, which is post function, user this, and content type is this. Okay, this is the same code which we are. Acha. Okay, over here when the success function is called, we will get some data. This data consists of a token. We will access the token data dot access token, and we will store it in bearer. Now we need to store this token inside our local storage of the browser. So local storage dot set item token key is used to set this bearer. Now with the help of this line, this token will be stored inside our Chrome local storage. An alert login successfully will be shown when you click the date alert. After clicking the alert, the home.html code will be opened. This is our home HTML code, which just give us a title home page and user successfully log in. Now I will save my code and I will debug my code. Start debugging. Okay, here I will login hover the rate abc.com, password is 123 at the rate capital A small a. I will click login button. Okay, now our user is successfully logged in. When I click the OK button, home page will be shown over here. Okay, now login work is done, is also done with the help of uh, form. Now I want to do the same work, the same login work with the help of Postman, which is not given over here. So inside the Postman, the first uh, thing is, okay, login work is also done with the help of Postman, I think. Yes. So now this work, this things to remember, we will not explain these things. Okay, for quiz, I will tell you one thing, that the quiz will be like, uh, I will give you a controller and a model class, and you need to write, maybe you need to write a login form only, or maybe you need to write a registration form, maybe you need to write both login and registration form. So you need to write the HTML code for the form, and also you need to write the script. Okay, for HTML code, you need to create, to create the ng user controller, and then you need to create the input type, which is email, password, and confirm password. Maybe I will give inside the registration, I will give you some more text field, which will be provide phone number, provide age. So all these so text field for all these attributes will be created in this way, and then you have to write the Angular script. You need to memorize all the script over here for quiz and for final paper. Okay, that's all from my side.